was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. It is definitely one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, really?
I wasn't expecting it to be. I mean, just because I didn't know. If you were to just read the cover, it sounds very serious and dark and disturbing, I guess. But I found it to be sort of the opposite.
Yeah, it's sprinkled with humor.
Well, I'm gonna have to ask you. I found myself laughing so hard throughout. I mean, like, did I misconstrue
Oh
something?
no, I think he wanted that. The story is serious, but it's told in such a lighthearted way almost with the because the characters are so eccentric.
That is such a great way to put it. Yes, it's filled or populated with so many colorful characters, and I think that's why I enjoyed it so much.
I mean, you can't open the book with a character named Bum Bum and not expect it to even though she wasn't a huge part,
Mhm.
that's still that's a nickname you're not gonna forget.
I mean, I was captivated with Dominic the Haitian sensation. I mean, just so funny. He did an amazing job of just weaving the different stories together and just how it all came together at the end. But I mean, but some things were sort of left,
I think you have to because characters, especially like the women at the church, and not quite the Italian, but they do it too. They just don't realize they do it, and not so much like Bunch and the other drug dealers.
Mhm.
But everything is kind of based on rumors. So like the church women love gossip, and Izzy, what was her name, Miss Izzy loves gossip, and everything's based on like hearsay. So like the drug dealers are trying to figure out the next move based on here. They're not. It's not a business. The Italians are always trying to like talk to each other without giving information away, but trying to gain information. Like it's all. I think he tells the story in that sort of way. Like he stays true to that whole not direct conversation, gossipy kind of. I don't know. I thought he did a really good job.
Well, it was just perfectly portrayed.
He was a master of the scene. Like he could hold a scene. Like even if it didn't tie well to the next scene, or even if it never came back, like each little piece was just so expertly done.
Oh, I thought so too.
Or the little lines he said. Never met the guard at the nursing home, and he was only in it for what, like 10 pages maybe. Talked to Sport Coat, and it ended with the only difference between me and him is like 270 days. It was like that's a master at the craft right there. Like,
I agree.
I could see why some of his previous books have been so highly regarded.
A major complaint, it has too many characters, but I think that just sort of added to make the story more just engaging, I think.
That, and it's about the community. Like you're not gonna have a community of a couple people. Like you're gonna have tons of people. Some people you know, some people you don't. And that it's more about the place. It's more about the cause than the actual people. Like I mean, it's named after a single person, but it's more about the whole neighborhood.
I didn't think it was overwhelming. Did you find it
I didn't.
overwhelming?
No, there's compared to the Tale of Genji, the characters were fine. And
this book is definitely full of wit, humor, and heart. Did you find it odd though that Deems, the most ruthless drug dealer, spent like 3/4 of the book either in the hospital or convalescing?
I mean, I think that's all part of the joke.
What was hilarious though was how Bunch Moon set that Hitman Earl on Sport Coat.
Oh yeah.
And he was born with like the worst bad luck.
Sport Coat had like a guardian angel because apparently Earl was like real vicious and like real effective, but just the dumbest things kept like bothering. Like it was well crafted, well thought out. And
what about that twist?
Which twist?
Harold Dean.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that coming. That was good.
Right? I mean, I didn't find it predictable at all. So that was very clever.
Every little piece of it, you're all part of the community even if you know it or not. So like the old woman and the elephant's dad and like the whole, which is
the governor,
which helped build the church. And, like, none of the other characters know it, but everything had its place. And it was more about the community than just Sport Coat.
Oh, no, I agree.
You can tell James McBride is a musician. Each little section, each time he took a different point of view, the style of the writing changed. And he like stayed real tight with each character and like very It's very well crafted. It didn't seem like it was just. It seemed like it could have been many authors in a way. Was it Sister G or Sister Gee?
I think it was G. The only reason I think that is because Officer Potts
Yeah.
mentioned G Golly or something. So that's why I was thinking it was G.
Yeah, at first I thought it was Gee, but then then I was like, oh, it's got to be G.
Right?
But like even their interaction, you could tell they both were so infatuated with each other. But like nothing, everything they said and everything they did, their crushes weren't realized as to the other. Like it was so well done. Like
I just thought it was great. Oh, and the ants, just everything about this book, I just loved every part. I mean, nothing really lagged for me. Masterly written. I mean, he did a great job. Who do you think was supplying the cheese? He sort of left that unanswered.
Yeah, he hinted at it. So it's something to do with the elephant's dad.
It was the elephant's dad, but then someone mentioned that he had been dead for like 20 years and they were still getting it. Someone speculated that it was the elephant's mom. No. I mean, but I don't know. I mean, because he didn't really say after that. But I sort of like that mystery, though.
Yeah.
You know, like not everything was easily resolved.
Sometimes it was like, why mention a character to have it so brief? But people come and go all the time. I don't know.
It's one of my all-time favorites.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually we're going to find something besides Genji that you absolutely hate. And you're going to be like, why did you make me read this?
Oh, gosh. Okay, so I was able to squeeze in just one other one. 3 o'clock in the morning. Have you heard of that book? So it's translated from Italian, and the book is by Gianrico Carafiglio. and the title is actually taken from a quote by F. Scott Fitzgerald, A Real Dark Night of the Soul. It's always 3 o'clock in the morning. It's a coming-of-age novel where a father and son end up having to spend 2 sleepless nights together exploring the city of Marseille. It's sort of like an adventure, but then again, they also end up discovering things about each other that they really didn't know. At first, I was afraid it was going to be intellectually drab, but it's actually very good. I mean,
is it new or is it older?
Yes, I think it's a newer book.
How did you come across it?
I actually was flipping through the ebooks and I saw it and I thought, wow, that's really interesting. And I just really didn't know anything about it.
Isn't that the best way to go into a book?
Yeah, it turned out to be quite beautiful.
Okay.
So I like it. I mean, I don't like it as much as Deacon King Kong, but I'd say 4 out of 5 stars. The father in the book is a mathematician.
Okay.
And they sort of went into this thing. What would the number be if you added 1 in sequential order up to like 100 or something? And there's actually like a way of doing that. Like you, let's see, like from the segments, and then like if you form a circle and then you add certain numbers, it's way beyond me. I know that's what I was thinking, but I found it quite fascinating. So he goes, oh, and I see you have something else.
Oh no, I just forgot to return it, so I didn't want to forget and put it back in my bag.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not going to be discussing.
Gosh, I need to make more time for movies. I haven't seen one in so long.
I just stay up too late after hours.
I mean, but that's the best time to watch them, though, don't you think?
Yeah, when I just can turn off. I don't have to think.
Especially after Genji.
Especially in lieu of Genji. Outlaw Pete was weeded, and it was on the sales shelf. And I was just curious because it looked like a picture book.
Is it a Western?
It's a Bruce Springsteen song.
Really?
Yeah. So the lyrics were just whatever, but the pictures cartooning on top of like a canvas. Just picked up stuff to read during lunch. So. Sadie, which is a. Yeah, it's about a girl, her sister is murdered, find the killer, and it's told from her perspective and from a true crime podcast.
Who's the author?
Courtney Summers.
Oh dear.
Very, very dark book. But it was good. It was good. It was actually recommended to me by one of the teens. So good choice. Finally, something mysterious, and I picked that one up just because the cover is covered in rubber duckies. So that had me, and it was actually surprisingly, it was really funny. I enjoyed it much more. Like the mystery towards the end got kind of predictable. You know, I like have those stories where like the towns are like really eccentric. It's not quite like as eccentric as that, but it's still like realistic enough. But it was an enjoyable little middle school mystery. A lot of children's books. The Dutch House. Listen to that one because I read the article about, I guess Ann Patchett met someone who knew Tom Hanks and met her as an agent or something. Why he did the audiobook. So I was just like, well, let's see what this is all about. I guess we'll hear about what you think of it next time.
Okay.
The narration was told in the past, so like he's reminiscing.
Okay.
So an older man, Tom Hanks, like you just picture who could potentially be like a doctor kind of thing, telling the story. Except for, like I told you, when he says like what the chapters are, it's the weirdest. He's way too excited. He's like,
Chapter 3.
That's really what it was. He's like chapter 4. But it's like his voice is really like it's almost worth getting the audiobook, just hearing him say like chapter 17. What? You have your women's book club, and if they love it, be like, well, you know, Ryan actually recommended Shock 'em All, and if they hated it, you picked it. I had nothing to do with it. It's all you. Dogman came out with a new one, and it's Mothering Heights.
Right.
And I guarantee no one but Dav Pilkey can combine sentimentality with poop jokes the way he does. I really enjoy this book. One day I might grow up, but they're so sweet and so funny. Plus, that's one of the few books that I've actually like. When there's a whole series of them that I've actually read all of them. So next time.
It's supposed to be really, really good. So I have been actually really excited about reading this on top of everything else we have to read. I mean, with the Man Booker Prize, though, they seem to always choose like the most disturbing books. I mean, just something that I would normally pick up, you know, and then.
Well, I feel like since we started this, you've branched out a little bit too.
Most definitely. I mean, I'm usually a nonfiction reader, but now I'm reading James McBride about drug dealers. Yeah. Okay.